All right. It's straight up 3 o'clock here in Texas, so we're going to get started here on our webinar this evening. Actually, it's afternoon here in Texas, 3 o'clock Central Time, and just want to thank each one of you for taking out time from your busy day, especially right around the holidays here, to learn just a little bit more about the medical billing business. Folks, we've been in the medical billing business now for going on now 17 years, almost 18 years, and so I just want to introduce myself and get started here. First of all, my name is Patrick Phillips. I am the founder and the CEO of American Business Systems, and just want to let you know a little bit about me and the company so you kind of know who you're listening to if this is your first time for being on one of our webinars, and then we'll jump right into our interview with one of our guests, licensees today. I'm the author of a book called How to Reprogram Yourself for Success. We just came out with the audio version of that book, so if you'd like to know more about that, you can certainly check that out on Amazon.com and find out that we're for real, or you can go to any major bookstore and they'll have that in there. Probably not the audio version yet, but it'll be out there soon. And I've also authored a book called Cash Crunch to Cash Flow. Now, this is the authority on how to help doctors get more money faster into their professional practice and plug the hidden leaks that are draining their profits. Well, it's also a marketing tool for you. You'll be able to purchase this book at our printing cost, which is about $3.50, or you can also find it on Amazon and in any major bookstore. So this will be the book that will be we've literally written the book on this business, and you'll be able to use that in your marketing to the doctors that are in your area. If you haven't been to our website, here it is, absystems.com. Go out and check out everything you can on the website. You'll learn a little bit more about the business if you haven't been there already. Today, we're not going to go into real detail about the business because, again, you guys that are on the webinar today hopefully have already been to the website and know a little bit about what we're talking about here. So the interview will be with somebody who's actually done what you're doing. They've done the due diligence. They've gone through the process of learning about this business and have gotten their business up and running. And I'm just going to check and see if our guest is on the phone line here today. Janet, are you with us yet?
Hi, Patrick. It's Janet.
You are here. Well, thank you, Janet. I just hadn't heard from you and wanted to make sure, you know, that you were actually going to show up today. So let me tell a little bit more about the company, and then I'm going to jump right back to you, Janet. Thank you.
No problem.
Those of you who've been to the website also know that if you click on one of those orange buttons, you'll go right to a little form that you need to fill out. And once we have a little bit more information about you, we will give you access to what we call our virtual brochure. Now, this is an online brochure that has everything that we used to mail out, DVDs, all kinds of videos, information about our company, the opportunity itself, how we help you get clients, our marketing tools and techniques, our training, our support, our technology. You'll be able to see actual online demos of the web-based medical billing system that we have. And you'll also see interviews with some of our existing licensees out there and can call and talk to some of our licensees. Just like Janet Malinowski that's on the phone here today with us. This is a picture of our staff. We show this because we want you to know that we're real people. That's me and my wife, Linda, who started doing medical billing back in 1987. Built the business up to the point where I got involved in it. She was making more money than I was, so I figured she had something good going. And so I got out there and learned how to do what she had already started doing and show other people how to duplicate that. So since 1994, when we started actually licensing our system to other people, we've put over 1,500 people nationwide in the medical billing business. And we're now the nation's largest network of independent medical billers in the United States. We do thousands of claims every day for hundreds of doctors from coast to coast through licensees like Janet that you'll hear from here in just a minute. That's a picture of our building. Come on down if you want to visit with us. That's the best way to find out that we're for real. Or just come to one of our training classes. We have one coming up in January the 16th through the 20th. So if you're doing your due diligence and trying to get your funding together and get all your questions answered and so forth, you've got time to do that. But let me warn you, those classes fill up very, very quickly. This last class had over 20 licensees in it. And people like Lindy Anderson from Washington, Alan Smith from Virginia, Karen Heinzner from Washington, Let's see, Kirk Watson here in Texas, Rick Ragnar in Wisconsin, Kimberly Smith in Minnesota. Here's some more. George Washington, yes, that's his real name, and yes, he does live in Washington, D.C. Jeannie Souter in California, and Dennis and Annette Williamson in Maryland. These are just some of the folks that were at that training and that have done little video testimonials. So if you'd like to see that, you can go to our website, and up under one of the tabs there, you'll find our YouTube, our blog, and that'll take you to where you can watch some of those videos and hear what they had to say about the training they just completed this month here in December. So with all that, whew, I try to get through that as quick as I can, Janet, but anyway, it takes a little time to get going. But here's Janet Malinowski. Janet, are you on a computer today? Do you see your beautiful face there on the screen with me?
I sure do.
All right. You know where I took that, don't you? Right there in your office.
I do, right in my own office.
Yeah. So Janet, I invited myself up there, didn't I, Janet, about a few months back. I forget when that was. Middle of the summer, was it, in the summertime?
No, it was just, I think it was the beginning of October, wasn't it? I don't know.
I don't know. I forget. But anyway, I went up and visited her. She's up in the Ohio area. And, Janet, I thought I'd just ask you a few questions like I have in the past, of course, but some of the folks on here are just now looking into medical billing and don't have a clue what we're talking about. So we got to talk to them just like, okay, is this for real? That's their first question. Is it for real? And, Janet, you went through our training back in, I think it was August of 2007.
I'm looking at my certificate right now. Yep, you're right. August 2007.
Yeah. And look at here. I have a picture of you with the instructor at the time, Marilyn.
Oh, my goodness sakes. How I
You didn't know I had that, did you? Okay, I'll go back to your other picture now. I think you look a whole lot better right now than you did back then. Maybe
yeah,
it was just that training class, you know. After a week of training, that's what you look like right there, folks.
Out.
No, you look fine. And there's your certificate. If you look real close, you can actually see your name on there. Yeah, we graduated with well, basically in a week's time. I mean, we can't teach you everything, can we, obviously? But you were certified at that point. Yeah, well, we tried to get as much in as we can during that week's training. Janet, at the time, was that 4 days or 5?
That was 4 days.
I thought so. Yeah, I think we extended it that one extra day, I don't know, maybe in 2008 sometime. But anyway, we've got so much that we can just barely get it in now. I'd like to go to 2 weeks, but I don't think anybody would take off work and could arrange to get down here for 2 weeks. So, Janet, at the time, tell us a little bit about your background when you did look into getting into medical billing. What were you doing at the time?
Well, I had just been downsized out of my full-time job as a manager of a sales force in medical sales.
Yeah, that's right. You were, what was that, marketing orthopedic, pediatric? No, I mean orthopedic stuff,
yeah,
right?
orthopedic devices, Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you basically kind of oversaw some other salespeople going out. You were actually calling on doctors, were you, or what kind?
Yes, I had 42 sales reps that clinical salespeople that worked all across the United States, calling on nursing homes and physicians.
Oh wow, that was super. That was a great background then for this. It's kind of rare that we find licensees have any kind of connections. So you had some connections there. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I had more connections with nursing homes, not really the physicians. So it helped just to know a little of the lingo, but it really wasn't I don't attribute that to my success because I don't have any of them as clients, if you know what I mean.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, in other words, your clients just came from other ways that we had taught you to go out and market there in your community. Yes,
other referral sources.
Now, I'm going to open this up to the question, the folks who are attending the call today. We've got, a bunch of folks on here today, so I don't know if we'll get to everybody's question, but I'm going to open up the question box there, and you guys who want to ask Janet directly any question you want about her business, except for how much money she, paid in taxes last year. That'd be off limits. We don't want to get too personal here, do we, Janet? We might have an IRS agent on the call or something.
I don't want to get sick either saying the amount.
So we'll let you ask anything. So guys, this is your opportunity to ask another person who's looking into doing exactly what you're thinking about doing with us, hopefully, as a company. Or if you're just trying to get into medical billing on your own, that's fine. We'll share any kind of tips and tricks that we can today with you. And so I'm going to continue asking Janet questions until I see questions from some of you guys. So just go over there to the little question box, type in a question there. I'll read it out loud. I read just your first name and the question to Janet, and we'll just let her answer directly. So Janet, you got started in August. Did you go out immediately then and start doing some marketing?
I sure did. I put together a letter, and we sent it out to every single person I knew or my husband knew, and just introducing what I was doing, and then I used some of the marketing materials from ABS, and I sent that letter out.
Well, good. So you just took one of the letters that we had and kind of made it your own, and then just sent it out to the people you know, a warm market, in other words.
Yes, and that's actually how I got my first client.
So how many letters do you think you mailed out there at first?
Oh, I probably mailed out about 200.
Oh, and you got a response from just 200 letters. That's great.
I did.
What kind of doctor was your first doctor?
She actually was a physician who worked in nursing homes and home health care.
Oh, cool. Well, that's kind of unusual. Now, are all your doctors in that arena, or from various backgrounds?
No, not at all. Not at all. She's actually the only doctor I had in that arena.
Oh, well, that's great.
I have a variety of things.
So she got your letter, I guess called up and said, hey, I'd like to know more?
Well, actually, she didn't receive it. One of her friends received it, and they were out to dinner, and they were talking, and I guess they must have talked about me, and she called me.
Well, how cool. So it was almost kind of like a third party that had gotten the letter and then called and talked to this lady.
Absolutely, yep. And that's you just never know when you go places, who knows who.
Right. So did you sign her up pretty quickly, or did she have to wait a while, or what was the deal?
Nope, I signed her up probably within a week or so of that call, and got her started.
Well, that is great.
I had never met her. She was in Missouri, and I was in Ohio.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't realize she was out of state even. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, people are probably wondering, how in the world does that happen? Guys, this, our licensing fee, this is a business opportunity. It's not a franchise, so we don't have any, restrictions on territory, so Janet could sign up. And you may have clients in other states, too, now, Janet, do you?
Oh, I do. I have them in California, Tennessee, Illinois, Michigan, Nevada.
Now, I'm sure people on this call who are not familiar with this business are trying to figure out how in the world would a doctor trust you to do their billing when, you're clear across the country. Have you even met some of these doctors?
No.
No?
I have clients I have never even met in person.
So I'm taking it that they're referrals from other doctors then, because they had to have some trust in a total stranger up in Ohio, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, because doctors go to conventions and they talk to people, and I get referrals that way from my own clients. So once you talk to them on the phone a couple times, and with the use of internet and controlling someone else's computer, you can take them, they can do a nice tutorial of what we can do for them, and they love it.
Yeah, and so doing as far as getting the information from these doctors, how do you do that with being long distance like that?
There's a couple different ways. There's a secure way that they can scan it and email it to me. Other doctors will fax it to me daily. So it just depends on what they want. I have one client, they like to mail it, which I don't. That's not my preferred, because I think it's takes a while, but that's what they like to do.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works for them, Now, Janet, I don't even know if you know about this, but just a little while back we introduced a new service called iDocs Now. I don't know if you've gotten involved with that yet or not, but that's a virtual file cabinet that they can scan stuff into, and then of course you have access to it and can then disperse it to the people that are doing the work for you. and just do it all through that. So it's, it's a HIPAA compliant thing out there in the cloud.
Yes, it's something you introduced to us, and we're getting ready to launch that the first of the year.
Oh, super. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. You'll love that. Once you get to it, you'll go, why did I do this any other way?
Right,
it's just a wonderful way to.
Right, yep.
Yeah. Well, good. Okay. All right. So I'm getting a lot of questions coming in now. So, Janet, let me just address a few of these. First of all, I'd like to kind of get up to speed as to where you're at. Let's skip over all the other doctors and get us to the point where I'm going to show, for example, when I was there, I took a picture of your office building, really nice, modern office building that she's in there. And I'll also show a picture here. I think that's on the screen now, isn't it? Yeah. And I'll also show a picture of you sitting in the office where we did the interview, the video interview. Boy, you got huge offices now that I look at this picture. That you could put 3 people in there, couldn't you?
Oh, I could, yep. I have a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, well, how many square feet have you got in there?
I have 2,700.
Oh my goodness, wow. Yeah, that's a very nice office. I wish I could show all the different pictures here, but I did have one of you in the staff, remember, out in the lobby there.
Yes.
Yeah. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people that are there. How many people do you have working for you now, Janet?
I have 9 working now. I just hired 2 new people.
Oh, cool. All right. So, and how many doctors total?
I have 19.
19 doctors. Wow. Well, I'm sure everybody on the call here is wishing that they were in your position at this point, because at some point it just kind of starts growing, and it's organic, isn't it? I mean, if you're getting referrals from other doctors, you really can't stop it from growing at some point.
That's true. That's true. I guess the only way you could stop it is not return the calls.
Right.
Which, why would you want to do that?
Right, right. Well, that is great. So, Janet, obviously this is a good full-time income for you and 9 other people. So are they all full-time or part-time, some of them?
No, right now I have 3 people that are full-time, and the rest are part-time.
Ah, okay, good. Well, that's a good solid business as you got going there, Janet. Let me ask you this: is your plan to continue to grow? Have you got room there in the building to grow?
I got plenty of room to grow, and yes, I would like to grow a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was there, you said you had 2 or 3 offices that you could put people in, and then there's a whole other space you showed me that was like another 3,000 square feet or something.
That I could, yep, that I can occupy if I need it. Yes, you're right.
Right across the hallway there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see. Jamie is the name here, wants to know, says there's a lot of competition in the market space. How do you differentiate yourself? That's a good question. What makes you unique out there from any other medical billers?
Well, me personally, I think it's because the ABS system is so great, and because it's web-based, that's a very good selling point. A lot of the other software systems out there, there's licensing fees for how many users they have. We don't have that. So if an office has 10 people, they pay for all those people to get on. And then, you're part of their team, and I think that when you're out there marketing, a lot of people, the way I set myself apart is I want to be part of their team. I'm not a separate entity. I want to join in with them and have them be successful by me helping them. So. Yeah, we teach you to be more of a consultant, don't we? And not just a medical biller, but somebody that's helping the doctor with their entire revenue cycle, they call it. The revenue cycle management includes, getting money from their patients, helping them with coding if that's what they need, introducing them to electronic medical records, all those different things that we offer through licensees. So good. That's a good way to put it, that we're very unique in the marketplace. And you're right. Our licensees don't really run into much competition because not many people have all the stuff that we have, So. Absolutely. Yes. Let's see. John says, where do you get the names for your mail-out database? Oh gosh, there's a lot of different ways. When I first started, it was just every single person I knew. We sat down and just wrote a list of every person that we knew and sent it out to them. But there's a lot of different sources. If you want a particular type of doctor. You can Google it now and get it. You can buy lists of different types of physicians. There's tons of different ways to get addresses for mailers.
Yeah, we've even got a new service that we're working on right now. You know, we're always trying to do more research and add more value to what our licensees have. And one of the things we found is a source that can give us any type of specialty, the doctor, contact information, fax, email, everything about the doctors in any given zip code. So we're going to start providing that for the licensees as a part of their, you know, licensing package. So John, we have plenty of ways to get names, believe me. Like she said, you can just go out there and Google it and find it. And on our website, there's a way to go up there. I think under the what is the income potential? Go up there, and one of the things is how many doctors are in your area or something like that. And you can put in your zip code and find that out. Okay, Ralph says, what are the 3 top reasons that doctor offices would prefer to use an outside billing service instead of their own in-house staff? What are some of the reasons that doctors want to outsource? Janet, have you ever
Staffing.
About that? Staffing, not wanting to hire people and deal with them, yeah.
Well, that, or you know, you have somebody, and if they call in sick and they only have one person, then the work doesn't get done.
Right.
For me, you know, I always have somebody here that can help do the work. The other thing is it's more cost-effective for them. I show them how, you know, they, in an office, a lot of times if they're just a single biller in an office or even 2 people, they don't have the resources to know all the newest, latest things that are going on and our experience with all the different insurances we have, because we can use our knowledge that we get from other people to help us with other clients.
Sure, that's not the doctor's core competency, is it? It's you know, helping people get well. They can't focus on both of those and really devote the time that they should to both of those things. So we encourage them to think about it as anything else in your office. Look, doctor, you could also clean your own carpets and wash your own windows and empty your own trash, but you don't. You outsource that. You could keep your own books, but you probably have a CPA. You could handle your own legal matters, but if you're smart, you'll get a lawyer. You know, that's what outsourcing is all about. Just focus on the things you're good at.
Right, and I think that when you have another set of eyes to look at things, I'll give you an example of, if it's all right, I just got a call this week. I'm working with a new client, potential client, whose office manager was not doing things legitimately. She was fraudulently doing billing and such. Well, he didn't have anybody overseeing it. But when you go to a billing company, you know, like mine, I oversee what everybody else does. There's a lot more checks and balances going on. When
Absolutely.
there's just one person in an office, there's really not any checks and balances.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you do need somebody who, this is your core competency. This is what you do every day, all day long. You know, you and your staff, that's all you're doing is paying attention. You're keeping up with what's all the changes in the medical industry, insurance companies, all of that. And again, doctor staff could try to keep up with all that, but boy, that's why we have such poor patient care in a lot of doctors' offices, is they've split their expertise in too many different directions. So good. Okay. And Ralph also wants to know, how much time can I expect to devote to this opportunity on a part-time basis? I don't know. You did it full-time, didn't you, Janet?
Well, yes and no. When I first got started, I didn't do it I did a little bit every day, but I never did it 40 hours a week, by no means. Again, as much time as you put in it, as successful as you're going to be.
Well, let's get a feel for, if you had one doctor, and let's just say that doctor did I don't know, 400 claims a month. Is that reasonable? Maybe 100 claims a week? How much time do you think you'd devote?
Well, it depends. I mean, let's on an average, a doctor can see 25 to 30 people a day. So that'd be about, if they did 30, that's 150 claims a week. And you can probably bill a claim in 5 minutes. You can probably data entry the patient and bill it in 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Then you have to do posting and stuff. So it's not that much. That's not that time consuming.
No, not for the money that you can charge, because don't you charge like a percentage of what money you collect?
Yes, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I
And
have
can you
some
give us a
clients
feel?
that I have some clients I have a percent of what I collect, and other ones I get a percent of everything I bill, because I do other things for, I kind of the all-inclusive, so they pay me that way. So I have different contracts for different providers.
Oh, so you do probably, for those doctors, you do maybe some patient billing as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Patient billings, consulting, you get, as you get into it, I didn't do that at first, but that's the beauty of it. You start learning more and more things. You find the value. You never say no to a doctor. He asks you something, gosh, let me look into it, and you learn about it. And then next time, then you can start paying money for that.
Right, you bet. Like we teach them in the class, we say, look, when somebody asks you if you can do something for them, always say yes, and then tack onto that for a fee.
Yep.
Because, that's what it is all about. Your time's worth money. So, yeah, and Ralph, it depends. We have a lot of people who work full-time jobs and still get this thing going. Janet, I don't know if you've ever met Bonnie Preston from Denver. She comes down now and does our training. She's running a full-time business, has about 12 doctors, and still has time to come down here every 6 weeks and do the training for us. She started this working a 50-hour week full-time cubicle job and still got out and got her business going. So it can be done.
I can believe it. Yep, I can believe it. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm in here every day, but I haven't billed a claim in months and months. Only time I would is if I had a sickness or a snowstorm and no one else could get in and it's me. But, I mean, I have other people doing it. I'm marketing, I'm, working on other things and enjoying my grandbaby.
Yeah, I remember her. What a darling. Hey, that's where I'm at right now. In fact, here in just a little while, my daughter's going to show up with my granddaughter. So that's what it's all about when you get to this age. Okay, yes, so I'm seeing a few more questions coming in, but folks, we got another half hour or so here. So again, if you have a question for somebody who's actually in the business that you're thinking about getting into, this is your opportunity to talk to her directly. I mean, through me, I'm reading the questions out here, but those of you who've already asked them know that I'm just reading whatever comes in the order that they come in here. So Greg, Jamie, Jennifer, John, Kim, Mercy, Ralph, Ron, you guys need to get over there to your computer and type in some questions for Janet, and let's put her on the spot here. Let's see what she knows about this business, okay? Oh, Ralph says, excellent insight. Thank you for that. Okay, here's one. Ron says, on average, at what point would you add additional staff? How did you know when you needed somebody else, your very first person, Janet?
That's a good question.
You got tired of doing the claims yourself at some point, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I did all this for the first year. I did everything myself, or my daughter helped. And then once I had three clients, I decided at that point I didn't want to do it every day. Longer there was things I wanted someone else to do. So it just depends on what your own liking is. For myself, for every client, I usually hire a half person, if that makes sense.
Okay,
and because I always have other people that can fill in a little bit, depending on how big their practice is. If they do about 30 patients a day, that's about a half a person's job to be able to build it all and post the EOBs and do all the work that goes into that client.
Okay. So on average, then, about every 2 new doctors, you feel like you'll need another person.
Yes, that's about right.
Yeah. And since some doctors could earn you, I mean, they could bring in, what, $35,000 a year, so with 2 doctors, you can justify hiring somebody pretty easily. And that's kind of a follow-up question here from Ron. How did you determine the hourly wage for people?
I kind of did a study in the area. I talked to different people that had businesses and just asked what they were paying, and the local college to see what they recommended, and I went with that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Sure. I've had people run little classified ads on Craigslist and ask for medical billers, and they ask for a salary history, and they get all kinds of resumes, and you get a good feel for that. But In general, would you say, Janet, and I've heard this from other licensees, so I'm just kind of throwing this out there, that a person who's doing data entry, what, $10 to $12, $13 an hour? I don't know. Is that reasonable for that kind of work?
Well, I honestly, I start my people at $9.
$9, okay.
Yeah, I think it depends on where geographically where you're at. Obviously,
Sure.
if you're in California, you'd probably pay more than here in little Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if they come with experience, I mean, after people have been here, then, I've got people that are making $12, $13, but they've been here for a few years.
Yeah, there you go.
You start
Sure.
lower, you can always raise their rate, and then more incentive to stay. But if you start too high, I just find that for me here, it works well at that price.
Yeah, like you said, every area of the country would be a little different on what you would be able to pay people for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Ahmad says, how long did it take to secure your first client?
It was about 5 weeks.
About 5 weeks. So you got back from training, kind of got a few things, I guess, in order. Sent out some letters, just what, immediately, or did it take you a week or two to get even the letters out?
A week or so after I got back, put it together and got it out, and then, I got the phone call and got them set up within about 5 weeks.
Yeah. Now, Janet, since then, I mean, did your second doctor, for example, did that come as a referral, or how did you grow, or did you do any other of the, half a dozen ways we teach people to go out and get clients?
I did some network marketing locally. I went to a couple conferences, seminars for physicians, thinking that would be a good place to go, and that's how I've gotten my clients. And I know, Patrick, you were here and it kind of blew you away, but I really haven't spent a lot of money on marketing. I talk to everybody, no matter where you go. I mean, I even signed a client up from a referral from the gal that does my hair. She had a client that was in complaining about cash flow, and she said, oh, one of my clients, you should call her. And I got a client. So I've been very fortunate and lucky, but I talk the talk wherever I go, pass my cards out, and that really is how I've marketed.
Yeah, and most people, like you said, they're blown away when they hear that it's as simple as it is. Now, you kind of have to know what you're doing. There's wrong ways to network and so forth, but to get people like your hairdresser to refer a client to you is just no big deal. I mean, other people know other people, and I think the average is like the average person knows 200 people or something. So if that's true, then you'll have contacts if you know how to work those right. And we teach you how to do that in our training now. And I don't know if we did this at the time, Janet, but we take people through a little presentation flip chart, that you can put on a laptop or an iPad or something and talk to your warm market and say, here's what I do. Do you know anybody who needs these services? You're not trying to sell your friends because they're probably not doctors, but you're trying to tap into their mental Rolodex of the people they know.
Exactly.
Okay, so Ralph says, how long did it take you, Janet, to get a steady stream of clients? Months or weeks? I mean, when did you feel like you could?
I signed my second client up in October, and then I chose not to get any more clients until the first of the year because I wanted to make sure I was going to be able to do what I said I could do. I was new at it, so I wanted to make sure I had something under my belt, felt more confident, and got doing the 2 clients I had. And then after the first of the year, I sent out another letter to a couple of different people that I knew, letting them know I was ready for more clients if they knew anybody, and went out and did some marketing. So then after that, it was February, March, and April, I got new clients, and I've been steadily adding them ever since.
That's great. All right, John wants to know, how has the support been from ABS? Kind of put you on the spot there, and me on the spot.
No, not at all, because I can't say enough good about how support was. I am one that needs to know, and I probably pestered the heck out of support in the beginning, calling or emailing probably 10 times a day in the beginning. And, you know, I always wanted my answer yesterday. So they were always very good.
Yeah, Janet, I don't know if you know this because you probably don't even need support now, but at the time this would have been nice. We added recently a live chat on our licensee support website. Yeah, you can go in there and just click a little button. Yeah, and just start chatting with our support people. Yeah, just like you know, with Microsoft or somebody. And I hate to tell people that our support is, you know, 24/7 because it's really not. Obviously, not, you know, in the middle of the night, but we do have support people that will respond to things. I mean, from, you know, 6 o'clock a.m. Pacific time till you know, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. I mean, they really are very helpful as trying to help people get clients, because that's our goal. We make a few pennies, you know, off of all the transactions that go through the clearinghouse. So naturally, we want everybody to be very successful.
Right.
All right. Let's see. Jennifer says, "How did you start out of a home office? Now you have your own office," and I'm showing a picture of it there. So obviously you didn't start out with something this nice. You had just...
Oh, gosh, no. I started out the first year in my home, and a month before our first anniversary, we got our first office. It was 900 square feet. It was a hole in the wall, and it was too big for us in the beginning, but we knew we were going to grow. We had signed a couple new clients, more clients on, and we stayed there for 3 years, and we just moved into this office at the end of July, 1st of August.
Yeah, and Ron is asking a kind of a similar question. Do any of your staff work from home?
No. Early, I know there's a lot of licensees that use independent contractors, but one of my first, actually was my second client. It was a big client, and this is kind of funny. He thought that I had an office because I had a P.O. box or a suite number, because if you go through the UPS for a mailbox and not the U.S. mail, it's actually a suite number. So he actually thought I had an office. And I got the account because he said, oh, these people that outsource, I don't want to do that. So that kind of stuck with me, and so we made the decision that we were going to have employees to do the work here, and that's actually been a selling point for me in getting clients.
Yeah, now, actually, Jenny, I know you probably know this, but you're pretty unusual because we've got clients like, well, like Bonnie that I mentioned. Huh?
I've been told that before, that I'm unusual.
That you're unusual? Well, in a good way, yeah. But Bonnie still, you know, runs her whole business out of her house, and I'd say probably 80–90% of our licensees still do, because they just don't feel like they have to have something. But it's nice that you've got something like this. I mean, that's Mercy's question here. She says, did you start in your home first before you moved to your leased office? Obviously you did. If so, when did you think it was wise to move out? Was it because you thought, well, you know, I've got a doctor who thinks they won't do business with me unless I have an office, so I'll just go get an office now. At least I got that doctor.
Well, it was after I had about 5 clients, and I just had there was just a lot going on, and I just thought it was going to be easier. I guess it was just, I hate to say it this way, but I think you'll just know when you know. And some people know that they can work out of their house, and they like it that way, but I needed a little separation. So, because I'm a workaholic, so if it's in my house, I would work 24.
Work all the time, yeah, yeah.
You know, by moving it gave me you know, I had to let other people do some of it. So I guess you just have to do what's best for you in your own situation.
Yeah. Now, Janet, this is not your first building. You were in a different one before this. Is that right?
Correct. I was at the other building, 900 square feet, for 3 years.
Oh, okay. So 900 square feet, that's like 3 offices or something, right?
Yeah, it was 4 offices. It was very small.
Okay, and can you give us a feel for what you paid at the time for that space?
Oh, like, I think it was $900.
Yeah. So,
not much.
Like you said, at some point you go, okay, I've got this much money coming in. I can afford $900 to have a place to work out of and have my people right there, working right there under me. So you just, like you said, you just know at some point.
Yeah, and it's a give and take. Somebody that works out of their home and don't have employees, they have independent reps, they're probably going to make more money than I'm making. I make good money, but they'll probably make better money because they're not paying employees. They're paying independent people. They don't have overhead. Like I have 12 computers. I have 24 screens. I have, you know what I mean? I have overhead, but that's what I chose to do.
Right. Well, and we have a guy out in Florida who has over 100 doctors. So he's got 6,000 square feet, 30 employees, and is opening a branch office, by the way, in Philadelphia. So, you know, a licensee can take this as big as they want to make it. But to be honest with you, most of our licensees are going to keep this fairly small. They like the fact that they can at least make what they would make working for somebody else and still work in their pajamas all day if they want to, you know. So
right.
You just have to make that decision at some point. Okay, so A. Cottrell says, I dislike marketing, sales, cold calling very much. How do I get past this point quickly and easily? How long does the initial marketing usually take? What would you say to somebody?
Well, you don't even have to do it. Yeah.
You're not.
He doesn't have to do anything. He could get a sales rep.
There you go.
He could get a sales rep.
Yeah, that's right.
Just
we have a whole
if
sales.
he doesn't like to do it, he's probably not very good at it.
That's right. And we have a whole sales rep program.
It's kind of like, well, you know, you have to do the things that you're good at. If you don't like to do that marketing and stuff, I don't think you're going to ever get over being really good at it. So my choice would be find yourself a salesperson that will go out and do that for you, and you help people do that, Patrick. So that's the avenue for him. I would tell him to do.
Yeah,
you know?
and we
I like doing it myself, you know, but other people don't.
Sure. Well, that's why we teach about a dozen different ways when you come down here, and then you pick out the half a dozen ways that seem to feel more comfortable for you, because some will feel more comfortable than others. But some people love to cold call, you know, just go office to office giving out their business cards. Other people, they just can't imagine doing that. So, you know, there's other ways to do it, like, hey, call up your friends and relatives, tell them you've got a new business going, and you want to share with them what you're doing. You don't want to sell them anything, of course, but you want them to give you some feedback. And your friends will know other people. You will get clients in spite of yourself. I tell people, if you tell enough people, somebody's going to want to do business with you. And all you need is that first doctor, because if you do a good job, they know other doctors, and you'll get referrals. We teach you how to get those referrals. So marketing is scary for everybody. Okay, Jennifer wants to know, what did you name your business? We didn't put that up
it's
there,
Advantage, and it's too long of a name. I've learned that. Advantage Billing and Cash Flow Solutions, Inc.
Advantage Billing and Cash Flow Solutions. Yeah. Well, I like that because you do billing, but you also do cash flow solutions for, actually you can do it for any kind of business, some of our services, but even for doctors, they have other cash flow solutions that they need besides just the insurance claims filing. So
correct.
That's a good name. Okay, and here's a question from Annette. Annette wants to know, Janet, how many times did you have to go out and cold call before you got a client? You didn't said you didn't do any of that, right? I
didn't do any of it till I got mine from my letter I sent out.
Okay, yeah. So you just started out with the letter, yeah. And, you know, we actually have a whole direct mail program that we teach people to use. If they want to do that, it's using an automated system that will send out some postcards and greeting card type cards that kind of educate the doctor on what you do, the services that you have. And it's just like anything else. If you do enough of that, somebody's going to call you up. And at that point, you know to go out and do that practice analysis that we teach you to do. So, Janet, let me ask you this. Out of all the doctors that you have, how many of them had some sort of real, you know, serious cash flow problems that you know you've solved, and they're thrilled with what you've done for them?
Probably over half of them.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, some of them were just okay with the money they had, but there was so much on the table they weren't getting, And that's what I discovered when I went out, is that the billers in doctors' offices, they got all the easy claims done quickly, and then there were huge piles of denials or harder claims that they thought were harder to file, and you know, we could come in here and say, this is all the money you're missing. So
yes.
But
and
I think
so,
a lot of them are like, you know, I'm working harder, but I'm not making any more money.
yeah, we hear that a lot from licensees. The doctors are working harder, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But and if you don't know how to, I mean, little simple things on filing claims can make all the difference in the world. I just took over a psychologist who was billing Medicare, couldn't figure out why they weren't getting paid, and here they were billing the wrong Medicare office.
So no wonder they weren't getting paid.
Yeah, they were sending the hard copy. They weren't doing it electronically. They were sending them hard copy, and obviously when they would get to, because just so people know, physicians, when they bill Medicare, it goes by different regions of where addresses where you send them. And they send it to the wrong one. They think I'm like so smart, and I'm like, yeah, well, I just did my homework.
You just figured out where to mail, or in this case, send it electronically.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Now, Jennifer brought up a good point here. She says, you speak of cash flow, but is a big part of what you do collections? Nobody wants to be in collections, do they?
No, but it's part of the business. Some people just don't want to pay their bills. So, yes, we send statements out. We do follow-up calls for our physicians. So we do. It's not a great portion of it, but it is a portion of the business.
Sure, and you make money on that money too, of course. Plus, a lot of people don't like to get into that at all, so we have a service now that licensees can offer called Quick Collect, and it's a service that does that for you so that you don't have to do that. Okay, Ron says, do you have a diverse clientele? He says, do you have dental offices? We don't do dental claims, of course. It's just medical claims, but Ron, dental claims are a whole nother type of claim. Now, we can give you software to let you do electronic dental claims, but believe me, you don't want to do that. Ask us more about that. But what about your clientele? Give us a feel for what types of doctors you have.
Oh, I have psychologists, podiatrists. I'm a little unique. I do a lot of durable medical equipment billing for different medical providers. You'll find that my thought is, I think referrals come from the same types. Like a podiatrist goes out, they're going to talk to more podiatrists. They're going to be at the podiatry convention. So generally, if you get started in a certain group, it seems like the people I've talked to, you kind of stay in those pockets.
Yeah, you might as well just stay and work within that group, huh? You get a lot of referrals, and
right.
Why not? All right, how many, this is A. Cottrell, says, how many of your docs already had a billing company, in other words, they were already outsourcing, but switched to you? And why did they switch?
Let's see, I had a few that had other outsourcing. They were not web-based. They were just software programs. The doctor had no ability to get in the software and even check anything, do reports, or know anything that's going on. And I showed him how, ours is web-based, and he could be in any Aruba and be looking at reports if he wanted to, as long as he had the internet.
Yeah, that's what scares a lot of doctors with software that is on the billing company's hard disk in their office, server-based software. It scares doctors, doesn't it? Because they don't have any control. They feel like they've lost control and access to where their cash flow is. With yours, you just give them a login to the system where they can actually see the status of their claims, don't you?
Absolutely. Yep.
They love that. Yeah. Okay, and just a couple more here, and we'll wrap up. Janet, thank you so much for your time today. Ron says, do you offer referral rewards for current clientele?
I do.
Yeah. And John says, were you instructed how to deal with the insurance company's payment policy?
I'm not quite sure what he means, but as you get into it, you'll learn that there are a million different insurances, and there's all different little quirks, but you bill them all about basically the same way. It's just some of them, you know, usually the doctor's office will tell you if they have a particular type of insurance, but they're all billed the same way.
Yeah, that's right. It's the same old process, and a little quirkiness in some of them, but you find that out after you've made a few calls to them here and there. What is your rejection rate running? Do you know, Janet, as far as total overall rejections from claims?
Gosh, it's very, very low. Just rejected claims or denials. There's a difference. Rejected claims on the front end, very few. We're probably at maybe 2%. If we have denials that we have to work after the fact, that's maybe at 2 or 3% also. So it's not very high. Because you do your homework ahead of time. Our system is so good that if you have something entered incorrectly, the system won't let it get through to the insurance. It's what's called, we call it a front-end rejection, that we can go in and say a zip code was typed wrong. The system's so smart, it knows that that zip code is wrong.
Yeah.
And it will tell you, and you can go back in and fix it. So to me, that's not a rejection. You know, what goes through the insurance, I think, is probably only about 2%.
Yeah. Yeah, we hear that pretty common. Whereas nationwide, I mean, we just ran across a licensee who ran across a doctor that for her Medicare, she had like an 80% rejection rate. So whatever, it was some other billing company that, you know, she was using. Somebody didn't know what they were doing, did they? I mean, that should not be near that high, even for Medicare.
No. That kind of sounds like my doctor that was sending them to the wrong place.
Right. Let's see, Mercy wants to know, how savvy were you with the web and software before you started? Did you know anything about medical billing software? Or
our software, I mean, I researched a few other companies before I bought ABS, but no, I never used any software. I mean, it's very easy to use. I tell people this. I've had a couple licensees, prospective ones, that have come to my office, and I really think you could teach a 6th grader how to data entry patients and bill. It's so simple.
Yeah, I think you're right. Really, it's just it's not brain surgery, is it?
No, not at all.
Now, in fact, mentioning that, Janet, do you mind if I mention the fact that some folks, if they wanted to come visit you, could through us contact us, and we could put them in contact with you to you know, drop in and ask you some questions live if they're up in that area or want to travel to your office?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
You had somebody do that, didn't you, just recently?
I've had, yeah, I think I've had 3 people so far.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they just want to see that this is, you know, something that's real, and of course asking questions while they're there helps them realize, like I said, it's not brain surgery. Once you see it done, you go, well, this is simple. It sounds a little simpler than it is. I mean, that's why people, you know, buy our license, is because we're going to take them and walk them through it step by step. But you could figure this out on your own if you had the time, I guess, to do it. Time is money, of course, so you just have to weigh that out, I guess. Okay, well, Janet, thank you so much. That's all the questions I see, so I'm going to cut off the questions for now, folks, and just tell you a little bit more about the next training class that's coming up and a couple of other things. So, Janet, you have a very happy Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for taking time out to answer some questions for folks here. I think you've been a real encouragement to people.
Well, thanks for having me on, and happy holidays to you and your family and to everybody on the call.
Thanks, Janet. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Isn't she sweet? All of our licensees who agree to be on these interviews are just as open folks as you could possibly ask for. And if you want to talk to Janet directly, just be sure and contact your ABS rep. You can go back to our website and get our phone number there at the top of the website. If you want to talk with Janet, they'll put you in contact with her, and you can just ask her all the questions you want direct. And we have other people that will talk to you as well. Folks, we want to make you feel as comfortable as possible. If you want to get into medical billing and you think we're the company that can lead you to the kind of success that Janet has, then just engage with us. That's all. We're not trying to sell you anything. We do want to sell you on the fact that you can own your own business. It can be a very profitable business, and you know, you can work for yourself and not have to work for anybody else and never have to worry about your financial future going forward. We have people bringing in 7 figures, so if you're the kind of person that wants to know how big can this business really be, it can get as big as you want it to be. Or you can keep it as small as you want it, and we've got clients, licensees, who've been with us for years that still have only a handful of doctors, and they still work out of their home, and they love it because of that freedom. We do offer several services besides just filing insurance claims for doctors. You'll learn more about all those that you see here illustrated with these boxes here on our website. We also have all kinds of professionally produced marketing materials, flyers that we've designed for each one of those services that'll tell you more about them, and you'll see some of those on our virtual brochure. You can also watch the video on the doctors that we have doctors who've actually volunteered on video to say why they've outsourced their billing. So if you're wondering why doctors do that, this is a good video to watch. It's out there on YouTube, or we have a DVD that we can give you access to. We've also got a whole line of marketing materials, including postcards that can go out automatically and get your first client for you, just like Janet did, except she was just using the letters, of course. And we also include in our licensing fee a personalized website out of dozens of templates, hundreds of different graphics and color combinations. You can come up with your own unique website that has all the information about all of our services right there on the website. We also have presentation materials. We teach you exactly how to price your services, how to do proposals for doctors. That's all included in our live training workshop, as well as, of course, our third-party book that I wrote along with Brad Malatesta, CPA, for marketing to doctors. We also teach you how to hire and pay commissioned sales reps to go out and get the clients for you. If you don't like marketing, believe me, there's people who love it, and they love the money that you can show them that they can make. Teach them that they can build a business within your business, and you'll have all the contracts that you could possibly handle. We also teach all sorts of effective marketing methods that are applied directly to the medical billing business. We know exactly how to help you get clients in, like I said, a dozen different ways. And we continue doing webinars similar to this one, except directly to our licensees on a regular basis. So you never stop learning, you never stop getting information from us, because as long as you're processing claims, remember, we're making a few pennies on each one of those, so we have a vested interest in your success. We also have that licensee support site I mentioned earlier, where you can go out and watch 40 or 50 hours of video training and have downloaded marketing materials. We have our blog on there. We have testimonials from success stories from other licensees, all kinds of things specifically for you as a licensee. Now, if you're still trying to figure out how to fund your own medical billing business, by the way, this study by the NSBA, their mid-year economic report, says that out of the many ways that people start a business, the third most popular way is with a credit card. Believe it or not, that's right. You fund your own business with your own credit card or credit cards. We've had many licensees use 2 or 3 credit cards, maybe 4 in some cases, to actually fund their first business. And it's an easy way to get funding without having to go through a lot of loops. But if you're having trouble, get a hold of your ABS rep and let us teach you how we can help you with the funding as well. Now, our next class is in January, as I mentioned earlier, the 16th through 20th. It's already got seats taken. This is going to fill up very quickly, just like the December class. The January class is always full. And as you can see, we hold about 20 people in the classroom. We supply the laptops that you see there, and you'll be able to interact with other people who've made the same decision that you have and are getting started. So be sure and call our 800 number right there. We're open right now for another hour here in Texas, 9 to 5 Central Time, and just ask to speak with an ABS rep, and we'll give you more information about how to get your business going. So folks, if you are still continuing to do your research, remember you can be on one of these webinars once a week. They're at 3 p.m. Central Time on Wednesdays every week, and they are live, as you found out today. So if you've got questions that weren't answered today, believe me, we will get back with you with the answers to each one of those questions, and you have an opportunity next week to hear me again go through some more information. We try to make these as educational as possible. We're not trying to sell you anything other than the fact that you should seriously look into getting into the medical billing business. It is a great business to be in, and I encourage each one of you to start your own business of some kind, by the first of the year. Last thing I want to say is that we do have a money-back guarantee. Now, folks, I don't know of any other business out there that sells a franchise or business opportunity that has this kind of guarantee. Here's what we tell you. If at the end of our training workshop, for any reason, you don't think this business is right for you, simply tell any of our staff, and they will arrange for you to receive a full refund of your license fee. That's right. We don't want one dime of your money. Now, you will spend money, of course, flying here if you're out of town, and for your hotel there, probably about $700 for the week. But folks, that's a very low investment to find out if this is as good as we say it is. So if you're thinking this is too good to be true, come on down, find out if it is. If it isn't, you get all your money back, and we'll part as friends. We don't want your license fee. What we want is you and your commitment to building this business. So thanks again for being on here. Again, this has been Patrick Phillips. I'm the founder and CEO of American Business Systems, and I hope I see you at one of our upcoming live training workshops. Bye for now.